Okay, so we are on our way to Bearwood Lakes to see the guys at Mizuno. We're going to do a full bag club fitting, and then we'll be going on to the tour truck to build the clubs. So yeah, I'm super excited to get going with today. I love their clubs, and yeah, I just can't wait to see what new equipment they have out and how it can really outperform what I have in the bag at the moment. The reason it's so important for professionals to have the right clubs is because these are our tools, and at the highest level you can't really afford to be off that much. The standard is getting better every day, and therefore your equipment really needs to be dialed in. So any advantage that you can gain when it comes to equipment is well worth exploring. Everybody's staying on top of it, so it's of utmost importance really to make sure that you are also staying on top of that too. One of the main things I remember growing up is actually being surrounded by tour trucks at Wentworth and watching players go in and out of them, and always being intrigued as to what they were doing in there. And I actually have used Mizuno as well since I started when I was 7. I believe my dad got me a set built of MP33 blades, and I used multiple sets of those until I was 16. So to be honest, days like today feel like Christmas, because it's just it's like golfing heaven, and you get to try out anything you want, and to watch the clubs being built is really cool.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
No, I'm excited. Yes.
Yeah, very excited.
Yeah.
Looking forward to see all the new stuff we do.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
It's been a while since you asked him that.
It has been a while. I think it was 2022.
Okay.
The beginning of 2022, or maybe end of 2021. Time to upgrade for sure.
Cool. So see what we can do for a video.
I think that when it comes to testing new clubs, myself in particular, I like to look for a mixture of feel, sound, which many people consider to be feel. I like to have my clubs coming out of a certain window and moving a certain way. I think that's really important. So anytime I'm switching from one brand to another, in order for me to make that change, they need to be at least similar in terms of what window they're coming out of and which way they're moving, and ultimately I want them to be better.
Take out the S3s for instance, and then suddenly that actually dispersion circle with 5 shunts. Pretty cat. Even if you combine these two, 115 and 159 compared to 323.
Yeah, it's way better.
It's a tiny bit down, but like we said, that's 2.5 degrees weaker.
Yes.
But what that does is the height slightly higher in it, so you can knock a degree of loft off that.
Yeah, I think I'd like to.
Yeah, you're not hitting any shorter really. 67, 65, 68, so you're a few yards down, but
I'm not too concerned about the distance, like at all really.
But if we're trying to match what you've currently got, your lawn
Yeah.
8 degree higher, so let's knock a degree of loft off.
Yeah.
Bring speed down touch to 52, or
Okay.
north or down to 15, pretty much similar to where you are. I mean, when you look at what you finish
Much closer.
yeah, 1 inch left of target is pretty.
Got to work on those 1-inch putts.
No, you tap in.
The area of my game I'm most focused on improving this season is my putting. It's something that has let me down in the past a tremendous amount. I think that finding the right putter could help my putting a lot, because I tend to chop and change a huge amount. My goal is to work with the team at Mizuno to find something that is comfortable and something that hopefully I can keep in the bag all season. I think this is this a bit bigger than what you had before? Yeah, I've used this.
Do you pass the line?
I do.
Try this first, because it will be that we take the line out and shift your focus elsewhere. But
Sure. Like having something with nothing on it,
yeah,
that I can just line up to the line on the ball,
yeah,
is what I've liked.
okay.
Because otherwise I focus too much on whether this is like lined up. So I guess something ideally that sits square easy, so then it's more likely to be lined up straight.
What are your tendencies here, I think? Other than short.
So honestly, just like mainly left, but always short. It's hard to tell when it's always short, whether it's pushed or pulled.
Yeah.
I start it online fairly well. It's just, speed. But if I'm gonna miss a short one, left. And I think it's just closing, that's why with that, I think I tend to shut it off a bit too soon, which is why I want something that's a bit more stable.
Couple of pucks for that.
Professional golf is a game of very, very fine margins. So it's incredibly important for us to have our equipment dialed in. That's why it was so great to get into the lab with Joe, so that we could really take a deep dive into the numbers. But to be honest, what excited me more than the numbers was to then head onto the tour truck and watch the guys get to work. This is a service that Mizuno specialise in, especially when it comes to supporting players who aren't on the main tour. And to be honest, I'll never get tired of seeing it. For the average golfer, a fitting like this would make the world of difference, because you just have so many shaft and head options available. You can really dive as deep as you want into optimizing every aspect of your game. And if you're just buying clubs off of the shelf, you don't really have that option. So being able to go into this level of detail for the amateur golfer would make a huge difference.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
What year is that from?
2002.
Is that what it is?
33. Yeah. That's when I got my first set. My dad then got his MP32s in 2004. It's proper Mizuno nerds we are. First set of blades, by the way,
Your first ever set of clubs with blades?
First proper set. Like, when I
teach you to, or from?
When I graduated I went from Snoopy to US Kids to then MP33s. Well, it was like more sort of practice club my dad got for all of us, the whole family to use.
So you'd use
I used that. Well, I used it in an England match against Scotland once, and it was the last time I used it.
I would use this in the morning to butter my toast.
It's a classic.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean you can hit one if you are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
wanted to see the numbers.
My ego couldn't take it. My ego could not take it. I mean, fair play.
This year, I'm most excited about creating. I've played full time for a handful of years now, and I've never really given myself an opportunity to express myself through creating content. So this year I'm really looking forward to 1, creating, and 2, competing and ultimately merging the two together. As glamorous as professional golf may seem to the general public, it can be brutal at the best of times. And my goal this year is to bring professional golf to the viewer, giving you a raw and in-depth insight into what life is like for those trying to gain status on the main tour. My plan is to compete in professional events, with my main goal being to document each and every second. I'd like to take you along this journey with me, so if you'd like to see what the life of a professional golfer looks like, then drop a sub and stay tuned.